get some prayer books. Why don't we get some prayer books for everybody?
Here if you want.
Yeah, but probably need a few more. We've got 3. We need 3 more prayer books from the. Well, how you doing? How was dinner last night?
It was great. It was a great service in general.
Well, thank you for joining us. That was very thoughtful.
I really enjoyed it. The singing especially.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
All right.
I mean, I guess you guys have already done a lot of large buses since COVID and everything.
Well, let's see. We since the summer, I think we've done it, and
Actually,
we're
even since, April, they were in here already. April of last year, they were already in here, but we weren't, right?
Right.
And then July of last year was the first one where we were all together, but we were masked. And this is the first one where it's mask option. Well, technically it's not, but you know.
Yeah.
Well, at least that I'm here and not wearing masks.
Yeah. So, but we're making up for lost time. Very much.
Yes.
Otherwise, maybe we just need 5. And maybe I'll have her binder.
Sort of by the grove.
Oh, okay. Well, I used to live on Genesee.
Oh, that's really close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live in Kirkland Bray.
Okay.
I have a friend who lived there. I think it's is that one that 6th and
Yeah, 6th Fairfax.
Actually, it
Fairfax?
goes from 3rd to 6th.
Well, yeah.
And from Fairfax to what?
Fairfax.
Not quite to La Brea, but halfway down. Hauser.
It's like a little community.
It is. And when
It's a big
it was
building
built, it was
over there.
restricted.
It's like a whole bunch of buildings.
Yeah, it's like okay. So she probably wasn't at the same building. I think yours is across, but I think I know where you're talking about.
That's my
Yeah.
No, actually, when my owner was born, he used to date the daughter of one of the guys. His company does.
How restricted? Well, I guess that's the company club. That's the famous Groucho Marx.
Right.
I think so. I think Andy and Susu are the breeders.
Yes.
So, yes. No rush. No rush. I mean, if Tim starts the live stream, it's fine.
I think the live stream. It looks like the live stream has started already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it started already, but it's on mute.
No, it's on.
It's on. All right.
Okay, so what do you tell me? I know. So how's the family? What's going
Well, just gearing up for Evan's college tours.
Yeah. How did the tour go?
Tours are going well. Yeah, they're going good. I think we're really focusing in. He's focusing in on the programs that he likes. Got a few more tours to do, but all music programs, so it helps us narrow the focus.
Where's he looking for?
Cal State's Northridge does a music industry program. And you play an instrument, you learn about business. I think
That's
it's a
a
career
good
in
idea.
music, sound engineer, those
It's a
types of
well-rounded
careers. Yeah, I would imagine it would be hard to. It's almost like a career
But he's taking such probably to the program and also just like cultural fit and what's going on. Like what, how,
all those things, yeah.
Because for me, I know I was like,
We're here.
I
Yes, so all that's a factor. Yeah.
It was very simple. I was the oldest of four. Three of them would be in college at the same time. 6 years.
Oh, yeah, my siblings were in.
So I got to go to.
Yeah, well, to be fair, my brother's the oldest. He's just over 7 years older than me, but he took a little longer to figure things out. So, yeah, they were all in school. I remember I was the only one home left with their parents, and this was like such a weird thing. Like, all of a sudden, I'm alone with here.
Yeah. Right? Oh, we must have felt like that's what she went to school.
Well, so my brother came back home at one point, and my oldest sister came back home. I'm sitting on the older sister, the one closest to me, and she was like, she had a job in DC, I guess she's so years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They told me she can't. She has to take a school within a 50-mile radius. Can't have her going to Philadelphia.
So, like, my like I said, it's like not too close, not too far, so I was from the Chicago area, and my school was about 2.5 to 3 hour drive away. It was like perfect. Oh, yeah, it was like this little home on the weekend, all the way to
Although my first year was on that side.
Well,
Good morning. That little Mike.
Oh, yeah,
He wanted to
I know.
Okay. I didn't know if
He was going to put it on my side, but I was worried with my guitar going up and
Right,
down.
no, I didn't. And he wanted to put it here originally. I said no because of the Torah and stuff. I didn't want
absolutely.
anything catchy.
Thank you for doing that. Yes.
So and does Rabbi know what it is? And I don't know if he does that. So good morning, Rabbi. The little Mike there.
gotcha.
We figured that would be the season.
Yeah, so we figured that was going to put it on my side, but I figured with my guitar going up and down, I just didn't want extra sound to reflect it, so.
And this way, because I didn't want it on the.
It's, and it's just an easier backup side.
Right,
So if
just
anything
in
fails,
case.
it's back there, it's just,
Because he doesn't know if his mic back there is sticking.
Thank you.
Are you missing something? Everything else okay, Rabbi?
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Thank
there's a
you,
lot of
Susan.
people just arriving.
Yes, I can see now there's like
I was out there and, they hear 10:30 and that's when they show, right at 10:30.
All right, and then they get to the parking lot and like,
They have to deal
where we
with
gonna park?
there was still plenty of parking when I got here, but it was certainly.
You were here a little earlier.
I try to get like I figured my call time is half hour before, and that way I can
Right.
get my music ready and needs and everything like that. If the students or the family have any questions, But I ended up getting here.
Thank you, Flo. Thank you so much.
Were you talking to the videographer?
Not much.
I was meeting together family and
Oh, okay.
came out.
The videographer asked me before the service tickets.
Which is great.
He said, once we start, you can go to the back, and he was fine.
All right.
They've been here since early this
Hello.
morning.
Hi, Rabbi Rick Schechter. Juliet, pleasure to meet you. Mazeltov, congratulations.
Good.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
Andrew? Yeah. And so
Let's see. And Helena is coming
Anyway,
in.
sit down. I will count heads. Oh, just from where you're sitting. I don't know if I can. Okay, if you can't, don't worry. What? You were curious. No, because we need to know.
Yeah, so Helena.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Actually, because I
It's just weird to me
because the chairs are missing.
So I'm just like here.
It is not in here. We are all good. Did you want to move your keys? I saw them
Oh,
on the
thank you.
chair.
Yes. Let's put them. Thank you.
You usually put them with your guitar. Chairs aren't there. No, they have. I said all the kids can sit. Because I said, they can also sit if they want everybody together. Yeah, this is a blended form.
Well, if Carolyn were listening in town, sure, yeah. Yes.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, yeah, one here. Hello. Shabbat shalom. Yes, that's right. Hi. Good to meet you, Helena.
Good morning. Shabbat Shalom. it kind of works.
My dad and I were just coming in, so that's
What do you think?
it's so funny. It's just like today.
Very excited.
So we just got introduced. Yeah, she said. Well, that's what she said. I'm great now. And they asked if they forgot.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're going to get started with Hine Matov. How good, how pleasant it is for us all to be here together. You can find the words on page 128 in your Siddur. Please join me. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, yadadai, dadadadadadadai. Hine matov, yadadai, dadadadadadai. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, yadadai, dadadadadadai. Hine matov, yadadai, dadadadadadai. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Temple Sinai of Glendale. I'm Rabbi Rick Schechter, that's Cantor Alyssa Rosenbaum. It's so wonderful for all of us to be together today. As the psalmist wrote, as Cantor led us in song, how good, how pleasant it is, how sweet it is for us to be together in unity. So great to be together as family, to be together as friends, and together as a community to celebrate Shabbat, the Jewish day of rest, the Jewish day of renewal, a day when we can slow down, just slow down to thank God for all the goodness and all the blessings in our lives. This Shabbat is so very special because on this Shabbat we celebrate Mimi Bernstein becoming a bat mitzvah. Yes, a bat mitzvah. All right, that's the way to do it. Love the enthusiasm. I'm going to teach you all a way that we're going to applaud here in Sanctuary. That's a lot of fun, and I'll show you that in just a second. So the enthusiasm is fantastic. Let's keep that up throughout the service. So Mimi, a bat mitzvah, literally a daughter of the commandments. Today, Mimi is recognized in our eyes and the eyes of the entire Jewish world as having come of age in our tradition. And she is now ready, she is willing, she is able to keep the teachings and the practices of Judaism. So today, Mimi demonstrates her new status as a bat mitzvah, as a daughter of the commandment, by leading us in prayer and worship. So please join in. Please join in the Hebrew. If you know the Hebrew, please join in the English. When Mimi asks you to join in the English, please sing along to the songs. If you don't know the songs, please hum along or clap along, and we'll all celebrate together. Mimi's also going to demonstrate her status as a bat mitzvah, a daughter of the commandment, by chanting from the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. And Mimi will share very thoughtful, very wise teachings of hers based upon this week's Torah portion. So we want to wish a heartful Mazeltov to Mimi and to her parents Susu and Andy and to her siblings, to Michael and to Helena and to Juliet and to the entire family. My goodness, we got family and friends from all over today. We got family and friends from throughout the Los Angeles area and from Oakland, California, from Portland, Oregon. Where's Portland? There's Portland. From Seattle, Washington. Where's Seattle? There's Seattle back there. All right. Oh, and from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Juliet, yes, from Philly. Oh, and with us on live stream today, we have family and friends from New York State and from New Jersey, from Rosario in Argentina, and from Asunción in Paraguay. Did I do that okay? Yeah. All right. I was practicing. I was brushing my teeth. Asunción. Well, we have family and friends from all over, as you heard. We have family and friends with us today, even as far as Pasadena, California. So thank you all for being here. Pasadena's in the house. Well, hopefully everybody has a copy of the prayer book that we will be using. This is a Hebrew opening book, so it reads from right to left instead of left to right. It opens that way too. We'd like to invite everybody in the sanctuary to please silence your electronic devices now. Yes, we'll silence that now. No texting during the service. Mimi, you're doing great. We have another way of doing that. Instead of doing the applause like this, we're going to show our love and appreciation to Mimi by doing a silent applause like this. Yeah, this is one of Mimi's favorites. We call this Sacred Pac-Man. So we'll have many opportunities to show our love and appreciation to Mimi that way throughout the service. Just a reminder, there's no photography during the service. We've got wonderful photographers in back that will share pictures with us. So with all of that, let us begin. We turn to page 185 in our prayer book, page 185. Well, in loving community of family and friends, this morning we celebrate Mimi, and we enter this sacred space to voice the longings of our hearts in prayer. In sacred company, we offer our love to the Holy One. We devote ourselves this morning to psalm and to song, to study and to prayer. May our hearts be lifted, may our thoughts be deepened, and may our souls, like the eagle, soar. Well, in that spirit, we now turn to page 190. Page 190, we are so very honored to call upon Andy and Susu Bernstein, Mimi's parents, to present Mimi with her talit, her Jewish prayer shawl.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef batzitzi.
Amen.
Oh, beautiful talit. Beautiful talit, Mimi.
Thank you.
We turn to page 192. Page 192 in our prayer book. So traditional upon entering a Jewish sanctuary to sing these words that come from the Torah, from the book of Numbers. Ma tovu, how lovely are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. This is our spiritual dwelling place. Please join us in singing Ma tovu if you know this.
Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Va'ani berach chastecha avo ve'itecha eshtachaveh lecha kodshecha be'yiratecha ma tovu Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael.
Let's now turn to page 198. Page 198, as we are so honored to have Mimi Bernstein, our bat mitzvah, lead us in prayers. She begins by thanking God for the miracles of daily life. Mimi's going to lead us in the Hebrew. We're going to respond in the English, beginning on page 198.
Oh, right, sorry. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasek vivina lechavhin ben yom uven laila.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who opens the eyes of the blind.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who frees the captive.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kifufi.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who lifts up the fallen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al chamayim.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who stretches the earth over the waters.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadei gaver.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who strengthens our steps.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who clothes the naked.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanotein laya eif koach.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who gives strength to the weary.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir sheina me'enai utnuma me'afapai.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who made me in the image of God.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bat chorim.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has made me free.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has made me a Jew.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael bigvura.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who girds Israel with strength.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who crowns Israel with splendor.
We continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 224.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'almad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv ve'imeru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lal me'amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, v'yithadar v'yit'ala v'yithalal, shemei de'kudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiran be'alma, v'yimeru Amen.
We now turn to page 226. Please rise for our call to worship.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Please turn to page 228 for the Yotzer or prayer, thanking God for the wonders of creation. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Yotzer or uvorei hoshech, oseh shalom uvorei et hakol. Hameir la'aretz, v'la darim alecha birachamim. Uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid, ma'aseh v'reishit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita. Mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha. Ve'al me'orei or she'asita, yefa'arucha sela. Or chadash al Tzion ta'ir, v'nizkeh hulanu mecheira le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer Cham Orot.
Amen.
We turn to page 231. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said, and light blinded we saw. That inner and outer worlds are one, as you are one. You spoke and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries. Your light moving before us as we climbed, fell back and climbed again. Your Sinai of life. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher ba'amo Yisrael b'ahava. Please join me in the Shema, beginning on page 232.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. Please join me in chanting the Ve'ahavta on page 234. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol levavcha u'v'kol nafshecha u'v'kol meodecha v'chayu ha'devarim ha'eleh asher anohi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levadecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha v'derech uvshokbecha ukumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'chayu letotafot beineinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tishkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yityam kirushim Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihyot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue responsively on page 239. The eternal truth is that you alone are God and there is none else.
May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war anymore.
You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart.
The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asks God.
We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy.
Praise to God Most High.
Blessed is God and deserving of blessing.
We turn to page 240. We now come to the heart of Jewish worship, the Amidah, on pages 242 through 248. Please rise. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Hasdei Avot v'Imachot, Umevi Geula, Livnei v'Nehem, Lema'an Shemo ba'avachava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Le'Oshia. Mehakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim. Somech Noflim Verofei Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umechayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Meimi Tu Mechaya, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah L'chachayot HaKol. Baruch atah Adonai, Melech HaKol.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה על זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו, אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. We continue with the singing of the Vishamru on page 250.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat le'dorotam berit olam. U'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat le'dorotam berit olam. Ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat le'dorotam berit olam.
Please turn to page 253. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished? Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while that what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Please join me. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time. Contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. I'm honored to now call upon my sisters, Helen and Juliet, to lead us in prayer on page 257. This prayer has a Hebrew response, Modim Anachnu Lach, which means we thank you, God.
For the expanding grandeur of creation, for worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations.
Modim anachnu lach.
For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons.
Modim anachnu lach.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression.
Modim anachnu lach.
For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding views of not shared.
Modim anachnu lach.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose.
Modim anachnu lach.
We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds.
Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness. You are worthy of thanksgiving.
Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha ulecha na'el lehodot.
We now take a moment for personal and silent prayer.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, ויעל ליבי לפניך, Adonai tzuri v'goali. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, Amen.
We now come to our Torah service. You can find the prayers and blessings for the Torah service beginning on page 362. Page 362.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, v'ein k'ma'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imlach le'olam va'ed, Adonai ozeh mo yitain, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom, av harachamim, heitiva v'irtzoncha et Zion, tibne chomot Yerushalayim, tibne chomot Yerushalayim, ki v'cha levad batachnu, Melech Eram Benisa Adon Olamim.
To now open the Aron HaKodesh, the Holy Ark, we are delighted to call upon Andy Bernstein, Mimi's dad, and Michael Bernstein, Mimi's brother, to pass the Torah through the generations. We are honored to call upon Andy and Susu Bernstein, Mimi's parents, and Mimi Bernstein, of course, our bat mitzvah. After our processional with the Torah, we are honored to help us undress the Torah scroll, Sasha Davila and Ayla Greer, Mimi's friends. We now invite the entire congregation to please rise before the open ark. Well, Mimi, you are leading us so beautifully in prayer and in worship today. As you know, some of the prayers that you've been leading are thousands of years old, and you're now getting ready to do something that people have also been doing for millennia, for thousands of years. Chanting, reading from the Torah, reading from the 5 books of Moses, the embodiment of Jewish wisdom and teaching and history and values. The 5 books, the books of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. He's not going to read all those today. It's got a wonderful portion right in the middle in the book of Leviticus. Well, Mimi, in becoming a bat mitzvah, daughter of the commandment, you are now taking your place among the Jewish people in what we call as part of the Shashelet HaKabbalah. Shashelet HaKabbalah means the chain of Jewish tradition. This loving chain of tradition extends thousands of years into our past. It will extend thousands of years into our future. We are confident because of you as the newest and the strongest link in this loving chain of Jewish tradition. So this Torah comes to you, speaking of chain of tradition, it comes to you Lador Vador, from generation to generation, with the love and the support of your family. So we've got family on the live stream. It comes to you with all of their love and support. We've got generations of your family who are not with us in body, but they are very much with us in spirit, here with you today. And so this Torah comes to you from them. And of course, and I'm going to give the microphone to Cantor now. Thank you, Cantor. It comes to you with the love and the support and guidance, of course, of your parents. It comes from your dad, with all of his love and support. It comes from your mom, with all of her love and guidance. To now finally rest in your arms, Mimi.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ulevar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah Torah, le'amo Yisrael, B'kdushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadol Adonai iti, unerom b'ma Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hahod. Ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha v'amid na'aseh lechol rosh. Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu, ve'ishtachavu, ve'ishtachavu le'hakodsho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam, ha'olam omed. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam, ha'olam omed. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד.
And please be seated, everybody. Okay, so I'm just going to put that in the center and intro. How's that? Okay, so if you want to come on over here, Mike and Dick, there you go.
This week's Torah portion comes from the book of Leviticus. In it, we learn about the eldest sons of Aaron, priests named Nadav and Avihu, and their experience while performing a holy ritual of sacrifice. You can find the Torah portion in the blue Torah commentary on page 709 and in the green women's Torah commentary on page 620, beginning at verse 1 of chapter 10.
Yeah, that's 709 in the blue book before you. Gentleman in the front row, it's just right halfway down there, right underneath the seat. And that's 720 blue, and the green women's Torah commentary was...
It's 709.
709 and 620.
And
709,
620.
620.
709 and 620, beginning at verse 1. And as you're searching for that, we wanted to mention that it is an honor, of course, to be called to the Torah, as Mimi is, as Bat Mitzvah, to chant from the Torah. It's also an honor to be called up to the Torah to say blessings before and after each chanting. Blessings thanking God for the wisdom of Torah. That honor is called an aliyah. Aliyah literally means going up. We have 3 aliyot this morning. For our first aliyah, we are so very honored to call upon Andy Bernstein, Mimi's dad, and Michael Bernstein, Mimi's brother.
Ya'amdu Avraham ben Ari, Michael ben Avraham, Rishon.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayikehu v'nei Acharon, Nadav v'Avihu, ish matato, vayinu v'achein eish, vayasimu alecha ketoret, vayakrivu lifnei Adonai eish sabra, asher lo tziva otam. ותצא אש מלפני אדוני ותאכל אותם וימותו לפני אדוני ויאמר משה אל אהרון הוא אשר דיבר אדוני לאמור בקרובי אקדש ועל פני כל העם אכבד וידום אהרון.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah ve'emet v'chayei olam nata b'lotenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
For our second Aliyah this morning, we are honored to call upon Ben Bernstein, Mimi's uncle.
Ya'amod Binyamin ben Ari Sheni.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Amen. Vayikra Moshe el Mishael ve'el el Tzafan v'nei Uziel dod Acharon vayomer aleichem kirvu se'u et acheichem me'et b'nei hakodesh al mihutz lamachana vayikrevu vayisa'um behutonotam al mihutz Lamachane kasher diber Moshe Vayomer Moshe El Acharon Ul Elazar Ul Itamar Banav Roshehem Al Tifra'u Uvigdechem Lo Tifromu Velo Tamutu Ve'al Chol Cha'ida Yiktsof Va'achechem Kol Beit Yisrael Uvein ku et chaserefa asher saraf Adonai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'eichal olam nota b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
For our third and final Aliyah this morning, we are so very honored to officially call as Bat Mitzvah Mimi Bernstein.
Ta'amod, 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 habachura bat mitzvah, Miriam bat Avraham u'Mariel, aliyah shlishit.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar bani mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Umi petach ohel moed lo tetzeu pentamutu ki shemen mishkat Adonai aleichem vaya'asu kidvar Moshe. Vaydaber Adonai el Acharon le'mor yain v'shechar al teisht atah uvanecha yita b'boachem el ochel moed v'lo tamutu hukat olam lo dorotechem ulechavdil bein hakodesh uvein hahol uvein hatamei uvein hatahor Uchorot et b'nei Yisrael et kol hachukim asher diber Adonai aleichem biyad Moshe. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu. Sorry. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
This is definitely one of those moments. Yes. Wonderful. That was great, Lee. Fantastic. Yes. Well, you were you were great. That was so wonderful. This is such an important moment in becoming Bat Mitzvah. We like to call this a Simentoff and Mazeltov moment. It is good sign. It's a good sign and good fortune that we are all together celebrating this milestone in Mimi's life, this very happy occasion that we're celebrating together. So if the family would come on over and please stand with Mimi. We're all going to sing Simentoff and Mazeltov and share in the joy of this moment.
Simentoff, Mazeltov, Mazeltov, Simentoff, Simentoff, Mazeltov, Mazeltov, Simentoff, Simentoff, Mazeltov, Mazeltov, Simentoff, Yehelanu. Simentoff, Mazeltov, Mazeltov, Simentoff, Simentoff, Mazeltov, Mazeltov, Simentoff, Simentoff, Mazeltov, Mazeltov, Simentoff, Yehelanu, 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 Olecha Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Olecha Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Olecha Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Olecha Yisrael. Mazeltov.
It's okay. What do I say?
Well, it is so great to be together for such a joyful occasion. And it's a Jewish tradition when the Torah is before us to say special prayers. In this case, prayers of healing for people we know who may be sick or injured, people who are in need of a healing of body and a healing of spirit. So we invite you to please join us in this Mishabarak prayer of healing if you know it. It's in the middle of page 371. Middle of page 371.
Mishabarak Avotenu Kor HaBracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
Well, at this time, we invite you to offer the names of people you know who are in need of healing. We'll go around the sanctuary. Please just raise your hand and call out their name. Yeah. Yes, please. Carolyn. Yes. Miguel.
Elizabeth Vilmas, Danny Romero, and those injured in the Ukraine.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you. Well, we think of all of them, and we also include in our prayers of healing all the folks listed on the inside of our Shabbat leaflet on the Mishabarak page. We now pray in our hearts for all these temple members who are in need of healing, all these family members in need of healing, and all of these friends and coworkers who are in need of healing as we now continue our prayer of healing together.
Mishabarak imotenu mekor habracha la'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shleima, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We pray they are all healed. Well, Mimi chanted the Torah so beautifully. We want to raise the Torah high for all to see the words that were chanted so wonderfully. It's a Jewish tradition to raise the Torah high. And to help us do that, we are honored to call upon Mimi's brother Michael to lift the Torah high, and to dress the Torah, we are honored to call upon Mimi's uncle Ben. And we invite the entire congregation to please rise as the Torah is raised.
Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Morasha kehilat Yaakov, Morasha kehilat Yaakov, Morasha kehilat Yaakov. Torah tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe.
And to now help us return the Torah to the Ark, we are honored to again call upon Andy and Michael. And we turn to page 374, page 374.
It's Haimi Namakazikim Ba V'tomcheha Meushar Derachea Darchei Noam V'chol Netivoteha Shalom Hashiveinu
cry again. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you for coming and celebrating with me on this special day. It's funny the things you remember you did when you were younger. I remember that when I was in 2nd grade, I was at recess one day, enjoying my free time with my friends, when I don't recall why I got fairly offended and upset at something one of my other classmates had done to me. I was so frustrated, I took it upon myself to retaliate with a comeback. For those of you who may not know, my mom is a lawyer and works at a university. So I think I took that into account when I said to my classmate, and I quote, "You know, my mom is a lawyer and she can get you expelled from this school for doing that." The girl was horrified. I sounded intimidating. Of course, my teacher found out and encouraged me to apologize to the girl. I did, but I couldn't help still feeling guilty. I wondered for a long time why I impulsively said something like that. After studying this week's Torah portion, I think I realized why I did what I did. I had found a way to exert power and authority over this girl who offended me, and I foolishly abused it. Some say that abuse of power is an epidemic in our society these days. Abuse of power causes tremendous damage. It can do so today when dictators abuse their power to curtail people's rights or invade independent nations. Abuse of power also caused harm long ago, before the Common Era, in the stories of the Torah. This week's Torah portion tells the story of 2 important ancient Jewish priests named Nadav and Abihu, and their experience when performing a ceremony of sacrifice incorrectly. Nadav and Abihu were the 2 eldest sons of the Jewish high priest Aaron. Aaron was Moses' brother and assisted in leading the Israelites out of Egypt. His sons, Nadav and Abihu, were at the time newly appointed priests. On the 8th day of their ordination ceremony as priests, Moses summoned Aaron and his sons to gather animal offerings and other materials for a holy sacrifice. Instead of presenting just those offerings that God had instructed, Nadav and Abihu had put forth a ritual that was not directed or permitted as a sacrifice to God, which caused an alien fire to burn. The Torah then says, quote, "A fire came forth from God and consumed," end quote, the young priests who had abused their power. This story leaves a lot of room for wondering questions. I'm not gonna lie, I was extremely lost and confused after reading the story for the first time. Why did God punish them so harshly? Why was what they did such a big deal to God? Why did God not give them an opportunity for redemption? When the ancient rabbis were analyzing this portion, these questions were brought up and discussed. Initially, they tried to fill in the gaps of the story. Clues led them to believe that Nadav and Abihu were intoxicated when performing their sacred tasks, and therefore unfit to serve in such important leadership roles. When initially reading the synopsis of this portion, I thought, how can I relate this to present day? I mean, the main event of the portion was God burning 2 people to death. After spending some time reflecting on the portion, it hit me. Nadav and Abihu had a respected role in society, and they misused the power given to them. Instead of promoting the right thing to do when performing a holy activity and being humbled by respecting God's orders, they disobeyed God. In light of the place priests held in society and the tremendous influence they possessed and the public wrong they had committed, God must have thought of punishing them in the hardest way to send a clear message. That got me wondering about the power and responsibility of influence. If you think about it, there are so many people in the world that influence us today. Not only are there politicians and leaders and experts and teachers and coaches, today there are also social media influencers and celebrities of all kinds. We ourselves can also be considered influential by the people around us. We can have a huge impact on others' lives, and sometimes we don't even realize the power we hold. The hardest thing, however, is making sure we do not abuse that power and hurt others with it. When I started to think of people that have a big role in society today, my first thought was social media influencers. They pretty much have all eyes on them, and one wrong move could be catastrophic. These people exert a lot of power over their viewers, but they especially affect kids my age. Before I had any social media, I was never wrapped up in what were the new trends or the cool things to say. Influencers like Emma Chamberlain exposed me to a whole different way of living and a specific aesthetic. It made me want to copy their every move. I'm not gonna lie, I was wrong page, sorry. Emma got a new claw clip, I need it. this one girl on TikTok uses a specific kind of pen. Mom, can you drive me to Target to get these cool new pens? In just 15 seconds, I would be introduced to a new idea or look and immediately feel the power taken over me. It is a never-ending cycle. These people have the power to change the trends, mindsets, feelings, insecurities, habits, and thoughts of their fans. While some use it to the right degree, others, however, misuse it. Showing their support for important situations like vaccination sites or political events and informing the people watching is, in my opinion, good use of their power. They are the ones that could get into our generation's head and encourage us to do good instead of bad. Like Nadav and Avihu, social media influencers have a large role in society today and have many looking up to them. It is their responsibility to use their powerful authority in the right way. In this day and age, everything can get political. COVID precautions, fashion, style, even places. And with respect to politicians, I could go on and on about former presidents and officials. Among their overflowing amount of responsibilities, politicians and government officials hold a lot of power. Whether it is doing something they want to do instead of what's best, or just doing something because they have the power to do that, they are still wasting their power on something harmful, instead of doing it for something beneficial for the people they are responsible for. I think this is something politicians and leaders should take into account. Considering the power they possess and all the responsibilities put on their shoulders, politicians have a lot of influence among common people. As priests, Nadav and Avihu had a high role in society, similar to politicians today. We could learn from the past, and whether you are a politician, an influencer, or an 8th grader, when we have power or find ourselves in a situation of power, we can make sure we are using the power only to do good. To me, it was eye-opening to realize the amount of power people have. Obviously, people with higher status in your life, like parents and teachers, can have a major influence on you. For me, I look up to my parents and teachers. I find it helpful and important to have someone who inspires me in my life. But it is also ironic to think about the amount of power they have over me. Don't get me wrong, it is a great thing that these figures in my life are so powerful. But we can all influence each other in some way. When one adapts to their surroundings, they are listening and observing what those around them are doing. Like in the story I mentioned earlier, usually we have no idea how much power we have, even when talking to our peers. We have the power to change someone's thoughts or feelings about things just by acting a certain way or saying certain things. We all learn from each other, but we also all get influenced by each other. My sister, Helly, once shared with me this wise saying, "Hurt people hurt people." In down times, this saying really helped me decipher why people did what they did. It also shows how much power hurt people have. Sometimes when people treat you unfairly, they are exerting unnecessary power over you and abusing the power they have. Since we can all influence others, it's helpful to think about the power we sometimes hold over others, such as our friends, siblings, members of our community, even people we encounter only briefly. Together, we can learn from the tragedy of Nadav and Avihu. Society benefits from our being humble and not abusing the power and influence we are entrusted with. That has more impact on others than arrogance or superiority. May we learn to use our power to support, to heal, and to cause the right change in the world. In becoming a bat mitzvah, I've been doing a mitzvah project. For my bat mitzvah project, I plan to apply my determination to better my community. I'm so honored to be able to work with two of my favorite organizations, OLA, Heart of Los Angeles, and LACC, Los Angeles Children's Choir. Both of these amazing establishments are very dear to me. I've been a chorister at LACC for around 8 years now, and it is where I have discovered and explored my passion for music and singing. OLA has been in my family for around 15 years. OLA is an organization that gives underserved kids an equal chance to succeed through a comprehensive array of after-school academics, arts, athletics, and many more stimulus activities. My dad, a longtime board member, has helped set up their youth photography program and has helped with fundraising for their new visual and performing arts building at Lafayette Park. I am so excited to announce that OLA and LACC are starting a collaboration this fall, and I will be taking part as a volunteer there throughout the rest of my high school years. My work will include organizing classes and initial setup of the program, working with and mentoring young choristers in the new establishment, helping to host Ola choristers at the main LACC campus in Pasadena, assisting at performances and rehearsals, and trying to be the best role model I can for the kids. I'm so extremely honored and excited about this opportunity. I thank everyone at LACC and Ola for letting me be a part of this special project, and to my dad for helping set up the collaboration and giving me the idea and position to help. Growing up, I am so lucky to have been surrounded by such amazing people. Buckle up because I have a lot of people to thank. First of all, thank you so much to the gracious community of Temple Sinai for always making me feel welcome and loved. Being part of our community is such an honor, and I'm so grateful to all of the teachers and staff that assisted me throughout my education here. You have all helped me learn about and strengthen my passion for Judaism. My gratitude goes out to my religious school class, even if I haven't seen them in person for 2 years. A huge thank you to the wonderful Cantor Alyssa for assisting me and teaching me. We did it. I look up to you so much and really appreciate the effort you put into helping me be successful today. Thank you, Rabbi, for always being so comforting and patient and extremely helpful with all of your teachings and suggestions. I always enjoy our conversations, and I know everyone here appreciates how much you do at Temple Sinai. To all of my friends who have been so supportive and encouraging to me no matter what, thank you. I don't know what I would do without you guys. Ayla, thank you so much for being the best human ever and my best friend. No matter what, you always bring out the best and happiest side of me, and you are always so caring. Thank you for always being there for me, even during these crazy busy times for me. I love you. Thank you to Sella, my nanny, who is my very own Mary Poppins. She always thinks about others, and I'm so lucky to have been with her for practically my whole life. I will never be able to thank my family enough. You guys are my rock, and I appreciate you being here and supporting me throughout my life. To my siblings, Helly, Mikey, and Juju, thank you so much for always being there for me and supporting me no matter what. Thank you for sharing Mom and Dad with me and for being the best inspirations to life I could ever ask for. I would love to take a moment to thank my grandparents who could not be here today. Granny and Gapu, even though I never had the fortune to be able to meet you, I can feel you here with me today. Granny, Dad tells me all about your musical talents and passions, and every time I go on stage or perform, I think of you. Yaya and Papino, I love you too so much. Even though Papino is no longer with us and Yaya could not make it to the U.S. from Argentina in time, I can still sense you both here with me today, and I'm so fortunate to have had such able and smart grandparents. Finally, to the people that made this happen, thank you to my mom and dad. Oh my God. I'm so blessed to be able to be your daughter, and I'm so lucky to have such a solid support system. Thanks for putting up with me and my picky desire to make today perfect. Dad, I'm looking forward to more late-night Modern Family binges and blasting music in the convertible with you. Your advice is always so helpful, and I always have the time of my life with you. Mom, I will always cherish our Saturday morning coffee runs and our meaningful conversations. You are always the shoulder I can depend on, and I'm so grateful to have such a loving, beautiful person to be my mom. No matter what, you always put me first, and I appreciate it more than anything. Both of you inspire me, and I don't know what I did to deserve you. One thing is for certain, you never, and I mean never, fail to put a smile on my face. Please know I am eternally grateful for you guys and everything you do for me. I love you. Lastly, but definitely not least, thank you to everyone here. I really appreciate you coming to celebrate with me on this momentous day, and I love each and every one of you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Wow, Mimi. Wow. You thanked all of us, and we want to thank you for such a moving, touching, awesome day. Thank you. And I know that your parents would like to share now what is in their hearts.
Oh my gosh.
So Sue, Andy, we would be honored.
Let's not make me cry. My makeup's going to get ruined.
No. My makeup is running too.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Who's going first?
Well, well, good morning, all. Okay, stop it. My kids are making me always like nervous. Stop laughing, Helena.
Yeah, Hallie.
Never stop.
So, yeah, my idea was to say good morning, community. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you to those who drove all the way, those who flew from Oregon, Philadelphia, Oakland, and special thank you to those who I know wanted to be here more than anything, but incredibly frustrating and unjust circumstances, like the illness for Didi and ridiculous 3 U.S. unauthorized Russian vaccines that my mom got in Argentina prevent them from being here with us today. Anyway, thankfully, they can watch us from screens in the East Coast and from almost the end of the other half of the planet. Hola mamá, hola Didi, hola todos. Well, Mimi, this very expected day and moment has arrived and almost went by already. You gathered us all. We have a temple full of friends. These friends are our family, and you know that. Okay. These are the people who helped you become, that's so bad. These are the people who helped you become who you are, day in and day out. And so for that, we thank you, all of you. We are pretty pleased with who you are. Okay, so I'm going to get into the mood now. Okay, you came to our world in 2008 at a time when your immediate family was a bit overwhelmed. As you know, we were all getting together, and it was difficult. Your beautiful existence, however, brought us union and peace. I admire your decision to align with the spiritual guidance of your dad, of Judaism, which you and I like so much. And I don't blame you for choosing that path, as your dad is the epitome of a mensch. Yiddish word for a good person with high moral integrity. I see how you were attracted to that. And as you never take things halfway, I admire your decision to set aside a lot of time and effort to learn Hebrew, to become a bat mitzvah, to learn how to read the Torah, to interpret its teachings, apply them to your own life, and to learn how to lead us in this ceremony. It is amazing. I never went any farther than reading some short passage of the Bible on the Friday Mass at my all-girls Catholic school. You did the whole thing, very privileged. At the same time, I'm not surprised with your decision. Since you were little, you always sought guidance, asked way too many questions, and showed care and consideration to everything and everybody around you. You were a baby who had to adapt to the needs of 3 teenagers and working parents. But you never complained about that. Instead, you happily enjoyed spending time with Sela, who wouldn't. She works at Disneyland, but she's also the best, and went along with me to deliver and pick up kids from musical rehearsals, dance classes, SAT preps, and college tours, just when she was 3 or 4. We also went together to pick them up from parties at or past midnight, and you were always participating, mainly from the back in your car seat, never shy, delivering your own opinions with a strong, deep voice, bigger in sound and maturity than your little toddler body. Being the insightful and super observant Mimi that you are, one day after I pressed our older kids' good grades in high school and discussed school assignments with them, you said, "Mommy, you will never love me as much as you love them because I still don't have any homework to do." So that's when you started pretending you had homework to do in the afternoon and scribbled indecipherable words on endless numbers of pages a day for a long while. Well, that hard work and that determination, I have to say, continue and allows you to excel academically and artistically. You're such a hard worker, Mim, and I'm proud of that. But as much as you always wanted to catch up with your much older idols, Mikey, Heli, and Juju, you created your own path, a path of tenderness, sweetness, music, cooking, and above all, giving and thoughtfulness. You're fully aware your work does not end with your own needs. You help us always, from making us meals and surprise treats to blow drying your sister's hair, providing advice on clothing, going with Dad to special Thanksgiving events to feed others, and making the most loving presents for all. Mimi, you are also the perfect travel or shopping companion, patient, enthusiastic, and easygoing. Perfect. We got a challenging portion of the Torah to interpret for today's ceremony, and I love how you and you alone came up with a twist that helped us understand it. We were baffled with God's killing of Aaron's sons and wondered how we could justify that decision. Was it possible God made a mistake? We thought of addressing that. I would have been quick to address that and judge, you know. You're always conciliatory souled, found a way to take away a lesson from that passage that was bigger than possibly contradicting God. I love that about you, my meme. You can't stand being negative or judgmental. In a difficult word, your kindness, positivity, music, beautiful voice in tone and content, respect, gentle gaze, and enthusiasm makes life better. In the future, keep being you, mi amorcito. I think that your optimism and sweetness will not only help others, but they will help you. Don't ever lose that tenderness. But now that they will know that there will be bumps and disappointments. And for those moments, like Judge, soon-to-be Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson said this week, I advise you to persevere. Always keep trying. Never give up. Do it once again. Dad and I are so happy to celebrate what you did today and celebrate and party. We haven't really been able to get together and have a normal celebration and dance and you know, show the affection we have for each other. So I think this is so, so special. And the last thing I want to say is te amo. Okay? Thank you.
Beautiful, honey. I don't know if I can top that. Okay, so, well, Mimi, here we are today, 9 months later than it was supposed to happen last June. So thank you, everyone, for your patience, family, too. The amazing thing about today was that it wasn't supposed to happen. I'm not referring to the date of your bat mitzvah being moved because of the pandemic. Thank God we were all able to be here today to celebrate this wonderful day as a group. I'm referring to the fact that today's celebration of you becoming a bat mitzvah wasn't supposed to happen because you, Mimi, weren't supposed to happen. Let me clarify that. Okay. Let me clarify that. When we learned that your mom was pregnant, we were absolutely overjoyed, right? That joy quickly turned to deep sadness after the first ultrasound when we were told by your mom's doctor that she couldn't detect a heartbeat. She referred to the fetus as a blighted ovum. We were devastated, as you can imagine, but the doctor referred us to another one in her building who had a better ultrasound machine, so we literally ran to his office. He was an older man, just about to retire, and I remember it was late in the day. It was almost 5 o'clock. As God would have it, there was a faint heartbeat, and you can only imagine our incredible joy that you were not a blighted ovum, but beginning life as a healthy, growing child. The doctor's name, by the way, and I'm not making this up, was Dr. Bruce. Yeah. And for all of you who know me, that wasn't a coincidence. As we all know, God works in mysterious ways. I tell this story to you and everyone here today because it was the first indication to us that you were meant to be ours and destined to make an impact in our family and on the world. God wanted you to be here with all of us, and He has big plans for you. You came into a busy and chaotic blended family, as your mom said. Lots going on in our house all the time with 3 teenage siblings. Sometimes the blender went a little haywire, but we stuck it out, and through it all, you were the glue that held our family together during good times and challenging times. You had to learn early to stake your claim in our family. We joke about you being in your high chair at the dinner table, maybe 2 or 3 years old, and everyone talking at the same time. Next thing we hear is you banging on your little table, shouting, "Nobody is listening to me!" And that got us all to listen then, and we are all listening to you today. So many words to describe your personality, sweetheart, and I can go into detail on every one of them, but won't for the sake of time. Compassionate, delightful, fun, caring, curious, loving, smart, unique, talented, determined, musical, confident. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Lost page 3. I got it. I knew there was a page 3. So there are 2 expressions that come to mind when I was writing this speech. One is in English and one is in Yiddish. The English expression is "in your blood." In your blood are some incredible role models, specifically female role models who have helped shape you into the young woman you are today. Your mother, Susu, has always been the rock and anchor of our family while I schlepped around the world chasing the bouncing ball. I can see your mom's loving, optimistic spirit, her joy for life, and her work ethic in you every single day. Your sisters, Helly and Juliet, who you watched like a hawk grow up and strive to reach their dreams in medicine, science, and dance. The sweetness of your grandmother, Susanna, or Yaya, who we dearly miss today and couldn't join us from Argentina, but is watching on the live stream. Love you. Your Aunt Didi, who also couldn't join us in person today, one of the strongest, most resilient people we have all ever met, male or female. She loves you so much. Then there are the women who have left us, but are a strong part of your DNA and are truly in your blood, which leads me to the Yiddish expression that came to mind while writing this, kvel. If you look up kvel in the dictionary, in the Yiddish dictionary, it means, quote, glow with pride and happiness, beam, to be delighted. End quote. Your amazing Aunt Rachel, who became a bat mitzvah at the age of 92 because she wasn't allowed to at 13. Your Aunt Charlotte and Jackie and Tina, strong women who were full of life and love, just like you. But the person I saw the most when I first looked into your eyes in the day you were born, and who I see every time you perform on stage, is your grandmother, Beverly, my mom. I know we all wish she could have met you and gotten to know Susu and Helly and watch Mikey and Juju grow up in a busy home full of love. But God had another plan, and you know she is watching over us and is a constant presence in your development. She is definitely kvelling today from heaven. So today we all celebrate and kvel about you, the young woman who has changed all of our lives in a way we never knew was possible, simply by being on this earth, a place where you weren't supposed to be, but where God intended you to be. So thank you, Dr. Bruce, wherever you are, for proving that there was a life that God intended to bring so much joy to all of us and make an impact on the world. L'dor b'dor, from generation to generation. We love you, Mimi.
Ooh, I'm going to cry again.
Wow, very, very moving. Thank you both so much. Mimi, would you like to keep it Santa for a while? You want to have a seat? Thank you. Wow. Well, thank you both for sharing powerful, powerful, and moving and touching words. All true. We know all true. Mimi, I just want to share a few words with you today. What a wonderful experience this was. Thank you for creating this inspiring day of prayer and learning and celebration and wisdom and heart and soul. Mimi, I vividly recall when we met this past October to discuss your bat mitzvah ceremony. COVID was still strong, and so your mom and your dad and you and I met virtually. Each of us, we were Zooming from our own space. I still remember the look of your room, Mimi. If you've seen it, it was covered floor to ceiling, including the ceiling itself. covered with pictures and posters, with rows of vinyl record albums lining the walls. It was really cool looking. And I remember you also had a pink and white electric guitar in the background, and next to it there was a small wooden guitar, maybe it was a ukulele, hanging from your wall. And if that weren't enough, I could also see the neck of what looked like a regular size acoustic guitar standing on the floor. All this vinyl and guitars and musical posters, and you telling me that you've been playing piano since you were 5 years old, and you've been in like a dozen musicals, and I think you were in one last week, right? So I'm thinking to myself, wow, Mimi really loves music. And I think we all saw that demonstrated today. Your exquisite singing, your chanting of Torah and prayers, your ongoing involvement with the Heart of Los Angeles and Los Angeles Children's Choir for most of your life. So awesome that you're going to be volunteering for those organizations throughout your high school years. Such a great mitzvah. Mimi, there is something very Jewish about your passion for music and singing. Very Jewish. Wait, very Jewish? How so, you might be asking? How so, you might be asking? Well, music and singing have been a part of Judaism since its very beginnings. I mean, our service today was filled with song. The Jewish people really became a people with the Exodus from Egypt, which we'll celebrate in just a few weeks with the holiday of Passover. Is everybody getting together for Passover? Yeah. Are you cooking for it?
I can.
You can, yeah. It sounds like you're a great cook. So the original Passover, that Exodus from Egypt, finally free, liberated after hundreds of years of slavery. You remember, Mimi and everybody, how the ancient Jewish people celebrated their amazing redemption at the seashore. They celebrated by singing the Micha Mocha that we all sang earlier today and that we clapped to. That's how important to Judaism singing is. What's more important, Judaism's most essential prayer that we also sang today, the declaration of faith, the Shema, that God is one, that the whole world can be united, and you're going to be one of the people to help bring that about, hopefully in our lifetime, that the whole world can be united. We sing that too in the Shema. We've been singing it for hundreds of years. And of course, your beautiful chanting of your Torah, singing that. Jewish people have been singing Torah and chanting that for at least 1,000 years. In fact, scholars would say Torah has been sung and chanted since the 2nd century. So that's over 1,800 years. Our tradition would even say that chanting Torah is as old as the Torah itself. So now we're 3,000 years. That's how important singing is in Judaism. So it's so great, Mimi, that your love of singing and music was an integral part of your becoming a bat mitzvah. We all know that music can be a tremendous source of joy and happiness. Bet everyone in the sanctuary today can easily name a favorite musical composer, artist, or band. I know Chris has got one, whose music or singing always puts a smile on your face. Harry Styles, maybe? Harry Styles, Neil Diamond, maybe? Huh? Who else?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, there we go. Right? The power of music. Such joy that music gives us. It's so ingrained in our Jewish tradition that in the ancient temple that stood in Jerusalem, a variety of musical instruments were regularly used. A variety of musical instruments. Stringed instruments, flutes, cymbals, trumpets. The ancient temple had a choir of at least 12 singers. Choir and guitar, Mimi. It's how we've been celebrating Judaism for at least 3,000 years. Back then as well as today, we sing, we listen to music to feel joy, to lift up our spirits. If you lift up our spirits today, and it's a part of our everyday lives and just about every Jewish holiday. A great spiritual teacher, Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, said, the most direct way for attaching ourselves to the divine, to attaching ourselves to God and to the sacred, is through music, and it's through song. And you have done that today, Mimi. You've connected us to God and to holiness through song, through prayer, through your wise teachings, through your action by becoming a bat mitzvah, like beautiful music. The mitzvot that you affirm today and take upon yourself, Mimi, the mitzvot, they inspire and they uplift us. These actions that positively make a difference in the world, to other people and to animals and to the earth itself. Actions, Mimi, that make the world a better place, such as when you build and you improve the community by volunteering to help the underserved kids with after-school programs, by mentoring and assisting young choristers. I didn't know that word before I met you. By mentoring and assisting young choristers and being a role model to them, which you are, and which you're doing so generously in your Mitzvah project. Your actions, Mimi, like music that make the world a better place, such as when you're helping to guide our 5th grade religious school students as a teen assistant, which you're so graciously doing given your extremely busy schedule. Mimi received a rock star's welcome from the 5th graders earlier this week. You remember when you led our religious school in prayer and Torah chanting? Mimi, the mitzvot that you do, they lift up others, they lift up us like a sweet melody that uplifts the soul. You are such a thoughtful and kind and helpful and generous and enthusiastic and wise and caring, compassionate. I could go on too. You are all these wonderful, wonderful qualities, ways of being, ways of doing good in the world. That is what it means to be a bat mitzvah, a daughter of the commandment. And that is who you are, Mimi. That is who you are. May you continue to be a great blessing to the world and to all of us. Mazel tov. Mazel tov to you. Mazel tov to your wonderful family. And Mimi, at this time, Cantor, Alyssa, and I would be honored to share with you the most precious blessing of the Jewish people, God's blessing found in the Torah. And Cantor's going to chant it. She's going to sing it, and I'll say it in English, yes. So we invite you to join us at the Aron HaKodesh, the Holy Ark. Please rise, everybody.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
Mimi, may God bless you and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the light of God's love and God's wisdom shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, shalom.
Mimi, may God always be with you and with your wonderful, beautiful family. Give you all the most precious blessing of all. It is shalom. Shalom means peace, and it means wholeness, and it means fulfillment in every way. And together, let's all say, Amen. And please be seated, everybody. Mimi, come on over, come on over. Leaders of our congregation would like to make a very special presentation to you now in becoming bat mitzvah. I am so honored to begin by calling upon member of our temple board of directors, Flo Cohen.
Wow. I know that's been said before, but wow. You absolutely blew us away today. Your singing, your chanting, the poise with which you conducted yourself. And to see the love that this family has, it's palpable even from a distance, the way you reach out to one another and support. On behalf of the Temple Sinai Board of Directors, I am honored to present you with some gifts today. First, a certificate commemorating that on this day you became a bat mitzvah, leading us in worship and chanting from our sacred text. Next, we have a gift certificate from the National Federation of Temple Youth, NIFTY, that can be used toward a trip to Israel with other Jewish teens during your high school years, and we hope you will stay with the NIFTY here, the Giddy, and get involved and continue. And finally, and this is very precious to me, your very own copy of the Women's Torah Commentary. This book, which was conceived and developed by the women of Reform Judaism, is the first comprehensive commentary of the 5 books of Moses to be authored exclusively by women. Smart, talented, caring, and involved women. In other words, the kind of woman you are quickly becoming and have shown yourself to be today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Flo. And Mimi, representing our sisterhood and brotherhood here at Temple Sinai, we're honored, so honored to call upon Susan and Philip Hain.
Well, you, as Phil said, you blew us away. And I am so honored to have been here, to be here for your family, and for you. Mazeltov, it was just amazing.
Thank you.
So on behalf of the Sisterhood of Temple Sinai, it is my privilege to present you with this mezuzah. Hanging it on the doorpost of your bedroom can always remind you of your connection to Judaism, and wherever your life takes you, we hope that you will bring it with you so that you will always feel God's presence on your journey, and also the warmth of knowing that Temple Sinai will always be your home. We love you.
Thank you.
Well, Mimi, I can't help but recall the first time we met, which you wouldn't remember because you were in a stroller and an autism walk. And to think back to then and to see you now, it is a joy and an honor to be here, celebrating with you and your family, and representing Brotherhood. So, on behalf of the Temple Brotherhood, I am honored to give you this Kiddush cup. May it always overflow with sweet grape juice, and whenever you use it throughout your life, may it fill your heart and mind with joyful memories of this special day. Mazel tov to you.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Susan and Flo. Well, Mimi, you got a lot of great Jewish stuff there.
I love it.
It's our Jewish swag that we give.
Yeah.
So we know you're going to enjoy that. You've been working hard today. What do you think? You want to take a little bit of a breather? Cantor and I will finish out the service, and then we'll have a little bit of food to take home, and we got a few more surprises too. I haven't forgotten. We got a few more. Yeah, we got a few more surprises. So, but if you want to have a seat, and then Cantor and I will finish out the service. You can leave it there. I don't want you weighed down by that. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere. Let's have a few more prayers that we're going to share in together. We now turn back in our prayer books to page 586. Page 586. We come to the Adoration Prayer. It's called Aleinu. We're in the middle of the page. This concluding prayer is said before the open ark. The open ark is a symbol of the divine presence in our lives. So let's all rise together. We're in the middle of page 586.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atei gedula liyotzeh b'reishit, shalom asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shalom sam chalkeinu kahem, v'gorolenu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'madim, Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
please be seated, everybody.
ככתוב בתורתך אדוניים לך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Well, Jewish worship is never complete until we think of those people in our lives who we have loved and who have passed away, yet that love remains strong and it remains eternal. So at this time, we think of family members who have died, friends who have passed away, members of our community, members of every race and nation who are a blessing to humanity. We think of them now. We honor them through our memory and through our prayer. This Shabbat, we remember Jacob Hermant, George Cohn, Charles Norman, Alan Glazer, Harvey Hirsch, Phyllis Sivan, Shirley Rosenberg. We remember Eva Hain, Marion Parnes, David Lieberman, Susan Schwartz, Leon Johnson, Stephen Snitzer, Anita Honeybar, Vera Schneiderman, Joan Caffell Ettlinger, Janet Jeffries, Jennifer Woody, Nancy Lord, Barbara Bolter, Sandra Gainan, Charlotte Hellman, and Sylvia Miller. And for those who are observing Yahrzeit, the anniversary of death of a loved one that is commemorated this week, we remember Philip Aguiar, Lillian Anson, Luis Terreros, Evelyn Levitt. We remember Oscar Moulet. Thank you. We remember Oscar Moulet. And we remember Lucille Block and Harold Rind, Arlette Tamim, Evelyn Pauler, Marilyn Strauss, Riva Brodsky, Benjamin Cleff, Molly Green, George Newman, and Julia Deutsch. Is there anybody who's mourning a loss whose name was not mentioned? And if so, we invite you to please mention that name now.
Scoey Mitchell, Taylor Hawkins.
Well, we think of all of them as we turn to page 598, as we prepare for the Kaddish prayer. We thank God that they were all with us, that they were all on this earth, as we rise together. And thanking God that they were with us, we pray. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divarach erotei v'amlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'kol beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudesha berichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn. May we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved. And together we say, Amen. And please be seated, everybody.
We conclude our Kaddish prayer with Oseh Shalom, a prayer for peace. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We have many wonderful events coming up at Temple Sinai, including our very first Passover Seder in 2 years in person. You can read about that and all the other events in the weekly Temple Sinai email blast or on our website. Today's flowers were presented by Andrew Bernstein and Marielle Moulet in honor of Mimi's bat mitzvah and Ellen Strauss for the yortzeit of her mother, Marilyn Strauss. At the conclusion of the service, everyone is invited to take a delicious bat mitzvah goodie bag, compliments of Mimi's family in celebration of this joyous day. Thank you for joining us. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Flo. Thank you so much. Well, Mimi, at this time, we would like to call upon some of your religious school classmates that you haven't seen in a couple of years. Although you've been seeing them recently, we'd like to call upon, your religious school class, and come on up, guys. And Max Bodakin and Amos Lazary, and Max is going to present on behalf of the class. So come on over, guys.
Congratulations, you did such a great job today. We are all really proud of you and happy that you are a classmate of ours. Hebrew school wouldn't be the same without you. We would like to give you this menorah to remind you of this day and the friendships you have made here at Temple Sinai.
Thank you, Max. Thank you so much. Amos, thank you too. If you guys could help us, we're going to do a couple of blessings before we enjoy those goodie bags. Oh, thank you, Michael. Let's see. Take this one first. Okay, great. This one. Got one for you, Mimi. Oh, thank you. Let's see. This is for you. We're going to say the blessing over grape juice, and then the blessing over the challah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen chaim.
It is grape juice. It's grape juice.
It just tastes really good.
Yes, new grape juice, a new vintage. Okay, all right, gentlemen, if you can hold this. And let's see, somebody want to remove the challah cover? Amos has got it. There we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
All right, who's hungry?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, maybe go for it.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you guys. If you remain with us for our closing song, and then after our closing song, we will head into the social hall.
I want more grape.
All right. So this one was by Mimi's request. We're going to have our closing song today, Ein Kelohenu, which you can find on page 626 in your Siddur. And please rise and we'll join together. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemakenu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Elohenu, Mi Chadonenu, Mi Chemakenu, Mi Chemoshienu, Nodel Elohenu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Makenu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Makenu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Makenu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. If you could please take your prayer books and take them with you, and I think we've got a cart there, a bookshelf in the back. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, so I'm only, all right, I'll give it to